Hello, my name is George Haddad and I'm a Lebanese 8th grade student attending my 8th year at Azar. I'm here to present the importance of the topic climate change's impact on natural disasters. I've chosen this topic as my human and earth interactions topic to raise awareness of the issue. This issue is occurring globally and if it continues at this level will result in damage done to our environment and to us. I'll now begin and would like to thank you in advance for listening to my project. Climate change is a change in average surface temperatures across Earth. The reason this occurs is due to humans using fossil fuels, which release greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide emissions into our atmosphere and traps heat within it. An enhanced greenhouse effect is when there's too much gases and causes too much heat to be trapped within our atmosphere, creating the idea of climate change. This heat has a variety of different impacts to Earth and the environment, consisting of droughts, extreme weather catastrophes, and sea levels rising. Due to the climate change being changed, mainly from greenhouse gases and other contributing factors, it is changing the frequency, intensity, and harm of natural disasters. According to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, an increase in greenhouse gases will boost an overall temperature across different regions. This will cause global average temperatures to rise. This could lead to a risk of more droughts, increased storm intensity, tropical cyclones with greater wind speeds, wetter Asian monsoons, and a chance of mid-latitude storms. Climate change does not only affect average temperatures, however it also impacts extreme weather, which can boost natural disaster frequency. If global average temperatures rise, cold weather will be less common and there will be higher chances for hot and record hot weather. Due to population growth and the amount of people there are on Earth, it has caused greenhouse gases to be overused and increased drastically than before with a lower population. Greenhouse gases have been around for a while and we need them for Earth to be sustainable. However, too much will cause climate change and goes by the phenomenon the enhanced greenhouse gas effect. Too much of these gases cause unnecessary amounts of heat to be trapped within our atmosphere, and this causes the average surface temperature to rise, which is climate change. Now, this impacts climate change because greenhouse gases are the main contributing factor of climate change, and the more climate change there is, the greater the consequences of natural disasters. This being said, it proves that the greater the number of people, the greater the amount of greenhouse gases used to provide for them. More people results in greater rates of climate change, which impacts natural disasters even more. Climate change was first slightly noticed in the 1970s, and whenever two dates are being compared to find the difference, the 1970s are always chosen. There were 3,496 natural disasters that have occurred in the first decade of this century, consisting of floods, storms, droughts, and heat waves. This is 5 times the amount of 743 that occurred in 1970. All of these extreme weather events were influenced by climate change. The leading causes of disasters from 2000 to 2010 are floods and megastorms. They are responsible for 80% of the 3,496 catastrophes that occur. Heat waves weren't registered as a threat in the early 1970s, however, in 2010, them and storms were the leading causes of deaths from natural disasters. Natural disasters cost 5.5 times more than they did in the 70s. The main cause of these costs are losses during floods, and the disaster cost in the past decade has been $864 billion. There are two different types of natural disasters that occur: hydrometeorological and geophysical disasters. Hydrometeorological disasters are climate change related and influence disasters consisting of storms, tropical cyclones, local storms, heat/cold waves, droughts, wildfires, flooding, coastal flooding, and storm surge. Geophysical disasters are non-climate change related and can't be impacted by climate change. These disasters include earthquakes, volcanoes, dry rock falls, landslides, and avalanches. There were 3 times the amount of catastrophes in 2000 to 2009, 80% of them being hydrometeorological events. Heat waves. Climate change had a small rise in average temperature, which boosts the odds of heat waves occurring, making them more frequent and increasing their severity. They are common in the northeast and midwest of the United States and have become more common in the recent decades. Droughts are a lack of precipitation and result in crops and livestock failure. They cause an inflation in food prices, create food shortages, and stress the water supply. Temperature rising causes more evaporation of land and water bodies, which causes more droughts, and they also impact precipitation patterns. Wildfires are caused due to higher temperatures, dry conditions, an increased rate of evaporation, and a longer dry season. They cause air pollution, property damage from fire, illness and injuries, economic costs, and a loss of recreation, such as tourism and forestry. Extreme rainfall is related with climate change because it is caused by warmer temperature allowing more water to evaporate, moisture-laden air to be created, more intense rain and extreme rainfall, and a larger percent of rain in single-day weather events. This increases floods, erodes soil, damages crops, and contaminates water supply. Hurricanes are created because of warmer ocean surfaces, giving more energy to them and more power. Hurricanes, when major, can result in many deaths of innocent people, destruction of property, economic costs of property damage, reconstruction, and storm surges. These are all types of natural disasters that could occur and the damage they could bring to communities. Climate change may not be responsible for current and recent natural disasters. However, it is likely that it will impact future catastrophes. Climate change increasing surface temperature will increase the impact of storm formation, which will cause the temperature difference between the equator and poles to decrease. This activates mid-latitude storms, which can impact Earth's most populated areas, resulting with greater damage to deal with. The warmer the temperature gets, the greater the increased chance of water evaporation, which causes a more humid and hotter environment. This change will not have a big impact around the equator due to it already being humid and hot. However, this change will greatly impact the poles due to the air being cold and dry. Also, extra heat and water vapor will result in the temperature rising. The temperature rising will undo the cycle of storm formation and it will continue to decrease the temperature difference between the poles and equator. This will likely decrease the frequency of storms. However, it will increase the intensity of them. The reason behind this is that the temperature rising will continue to cause water vapor to be created and it will get trapped in our atmosphere. Since water vapor is the fuel and power needed to create storms, more water vapor equals stronger storms and hotter temperature. Increased temperature over lands causes a decrease in equator versus pole temperature difference. This causes an increase in humidity, increased intense cycles of droughts, which could cause floods due to rain all at once, and multiple small storms are less likely. Instead, there will be a couple of big storms. Having a wetter and warmer atmosphere affects hurricanes, and warmer climate enables intense storms to form, more frequent hurricanes to occur, warm oceans farther from the equator, and enlarge the reach of tropical storms. These are all the possible outcomes and situations that could occur if climate change continues at this rate. The damage and harm it could bring is catastrophic. Human consequences is the biggest issue we face of this topic. The annual average deaths due to natural disasters are 106,654 deaths, and the annual year average of people affected are 216 million people who are victims worldwide to natural disaster damage, recorded from 2003 to 2012. These extreme weather events are held responsible for deaths, injuries, illnesses, disease, economy change, displacement of property, destruction of property, environmental degradation, and more. In 1972 to 1996, 123,000 people were killed by natural disasters, and the largest countries affected by these extreme weather events are Asia and Africa, which has suffered 60% of all deaths from natural disasters. Extreme events greatly impact populated and developed countries. This happens when climate hazard and population vulnerability converge, caused by population growth, poverty, and environmental degradation. Two examples of human consequences are in 1998 in China, due to floods, over 3,000 deaths occurred, 4 million homes were damaged, there were economic losses greater than $20 billion, and 200 million people were affected. In 2010, in Russia, a huge heat wave hit and killed 55,000 people. Due to climate change, our world is 5 times as more vulnerable to natural disasters than in the 70s, making our world 5 times as dangerous. There is no specific way to minimize or monitor the impact of climate change on natural disasters other than the simple fact of minimizing the amount of greenhouse gases produced, since they are one of the main trigger elements in climate change. The greenhouse gases that get trapped within our atmosphere are carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, fluorinated gases, and other gases. Greenhouse gases are gases that come from burning fossil fuels, using electricity, a car ride downtown, and other day-to-day actions that increase our carbon footprint. All these contribute together and are released into our atmosphere. To minimize this, we need to be energy efficient, eat wisely, use renewable energy, cut on amount of waste, and more. If everyone begins to monitor and minimize their carbon footprint, we can slowly reduce greenhouse gases and gradually decrease the rate of climate change, resulting with a safer world, community, and life.